Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be discussing how to become a conscious creator. I will be bringing a new perspective on being able to create your own reality and really have a life that not only looks good but feels just as good, because we don't want millions in the bank and to be drowning in depression. That does sound nice. So we're going to be reverse engineering this and getting a new perspective on what it means to create your own reality. So, I said create your own reality, become a conscious creator of your own life. And I say this because a lot of us are going around, me included, at one point before I was privy to this type of information, going around unconsciously creating our reality. So, I want to break down some concepts for you guys. So, existence, we this plane of existence that we live is called physical reality, but there are other levels to reality, and physical reality is only a very small fraction of existence in itself. If we even take the electromagnetic spectrum, visible light is only a small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. So that means that visible light, what you can see with your eyes, is only about 0.003% of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So there's a whole other aspect to reality that we cannot perceive with our eyes, but we still probably interact with it. So let's get into it. This plane, this earth that we live on, is called physical reality, but we also have the mental plane and we also have the spiritual plane. So when it comes to physical reality, first up we can talk about the fact that we didn't create ourselves, we didn't create our mind, we didn't create our bodies, we didn't I don't know about you guys, but I did not choose this body. I did not choose the mind that I have, the brain that I have. I did not choose any of this. It just happened, and yeah, we kind of just stuck with it. But the part of it that we can truly interact with is on a mental level. The mental level is the part where we have the facets of our imagination, we have creativity, we have intellect, we have all of those facets in on the mental plane. That is what distinguishes us from other species, from other animals in the animal kingdom. We are the only ones that have consciousness. We are the only ones that are not running off of instinct, and we can actually break the loop and actually think and create our thoughts, create the feelings that we have, and change at any moment in time. And this is the thing that connects us to God, because God is a creator. That is where I came from. That is where you came from. That is where your puppy came from. Your cat next door came from. Every single thing that you can think of came from source, creator, whatever it is you call it. This is what we call God, the source, the creator, where every single thing in existence came from. Source, God. So in the same way that God created us, he gave us this gift of creation. We're the only species on earth that have this gift where we can consciously create on earth. If you think about it, every single thing, every item that you can think of that was created, that lamp behind me, that poster behind me, those books behind me, they first started as a thought. They started in the mind. By whatever process they went through to create it, that is known as the creative process. That is what makes us similar to God. So when you hear people walking around and saying where God's on earth, it's also in the Bible, by the way. I should probably find the verse and pop it up right here, that ye are gods. It's not in a blasphemous way to think that you are bigger than the program, but it is acknowledging that God is within us and he gave us the gift of creation where we can consciously create with our mind. And I think a part of taking back the power that we have as humans is accepting this fact and accepting this reality, because whether or not we want to accept it, we are interacting with this facet of reality consistently. So it's either we're going to accept it and create consciously a better life for ourselves, a life that's more meaningful and fulfilling for us, or reject it and just go around constantly blaming every single thing outside of ourselves for the lives that we are living. So when the Bible verse says we are created in his image and his likeness, this is exactly what it is talking about. It is not saying that God is a man and that we have the physical characteristics to look like God, but it is talking about this aspect of creation and using our mind and being able to actually create, versus every other species that is running off of instinct, which is why you cannot domesticate certain animals. And when you see, for example, a man who has domesticated a lion or crocodiles, it's not that they are actually domesticating these creatures, but they understand the instincts in which these animals are running off of, and they have to move in a certain way to not trigger certain instincts for them to attack them, because they don't have the ability to reason. And so this is really what makes us special as humans. So God is the ultimate creator and we are just creators on earth. We are the vessels. We have the ability to open ourselves up to God's creativity in our lives. And I truly believe that turning yourself off from this creativity is an act of self-will, because we are here. That's truly the purpose. If you really look at it on a biological level, you would say that this is our purpose, to create here on earth, because as I said, we're the only ones that have this ability, so might as well use it. Like come on, it's so cool, guys. Why wouldn't we want to use our imaginations? Like, kids get it. That's why when babies come out of the womb, fresh out the womb, and they're growing and learning, they are so interactive with their imagination, because the world has not corrupted them as yet and told them you have to be like this, you have to be like. They actually get it. If you really want to learn how to unlock more abundance in your life, you should probably go watch a child. You have to heal your inner child in that same breath, because it takes a lot of unlearning the things that we caught onto while growing up, and just allowing yourself to be free and create consciously with your imagination. So to ground this explanation that I'm speaking on, we have scientific experiments that prove this, that we also can interact on energetic levels, not just physical reality. And one such experiment is a double slit experiment, which is a physics experiment. So in the double slit experiment, electrons, they are known to exist as waves when they are not being observed as in being looked at by me or you with our eyes. And once you observe those electrons, they immediately become physical. Like, they become a physical thing that you can see. But once you're not looking anymore, they're back to being waves. You can't see them anymore. And this just shows that as humans, we have the ability to interact with other planes of existence and bring things down into physical reality, which is what I'm explaining with the creative process, which starts out in your mind, in our minds. So although we have a physical body, we are so much more than just our physical body. If you hear people talking about aura, as of lately, your aura is that non-physical aspect to you. It has different bodies. Like, it has your mental body, it has your etheric body, it has your emotional body, it has all of those that make up that non-physical aspect of you, which is why working on yourself, doing inner work, tends to show up in people in their aura, even though you can't physically see. But there is something that shifts on different levels, such as your mental body, your emotional body, your etheric body, and so forth. And that is why you can have two people and one person who is more conventionally attractive and one who is not as conventionally attractive, and the less conventionally attractive person can be able to pull a crowd more than the conventionally attractive person. It's because of the aura. There is more to us than our physical body. That person has probably done a lot of work on getting their mental right, their emotional right, their spirit right, all of those stuff right, and it shows up even though we can't see it, because we are still spiritual beings in a physical vessel, and it bypasses our consciousness, and we're able to really pick that up, that wow, something is different about this person, even though consciously we may not be understanding what's happening, but that is what is happening. So that's probably a beauty hack as well. If you want to become a little bit more beautiful, you gotta go do the inner work, girl. You gotta, or boy or man or girl, you got to go do the inner work. And you'll walk into rooms and they will literally shift. Literally, people will fall at your feet because of your aura. It's not anything physical about you, it's something so much more than that, and this aspect of you is eternal. Basically, what you want to do is to get to a point where you are in charge of the emotions that you feel. If you are dependent on physical reality to give rise to the emotions that you feel, that means that you will get stuck in a negative feedback loop if reality is not that good. You cannot only depend on great circumstances to allow yourself to feel good, because that's not true mastery. That's not being able to master yourself. But once you are able to get to a point where you can choose something else despite what's going on in your physical reality, that is what leads to being able to consciously create your reality. When you think a particular thought or have a memory, your body is going to have a biochemical reaction. It's gonna tell your brain to release certain chemicals, and these chemicals are going to let your body produce a certain feeling that is in alignment with the thoughts that you are thinking. And in that same breath, when you become aware of the way that your body is feeling, it causes more thoughts that are in keeping with the way that you're feeling to be produced. So it basically starts a feedback loop which you can get trapped into. Brain becomes an artifact of the past, of past memories, and you continue to think thoughts in keeping with things of the past. When you're trying to create a new reality now, you might find that for up to a point you're able to get so much done and then no more, because physical exertion is only the smallest aspect of it. The way that you think and the way that you feel influence majority of what is happening, because when you focus only on chasing whatever you want, going for it physically, you're gonna hit a wall. You're going to reach a limit where it can curb off and nothing else can happen. And this is where your thoughts and your feelings come into it. You have to liberate your thoughts and your feelings from the past, because a lot of us were walking around with ideas and beliefs from the past. But to be able to have a new future, a different reality, you have to start thinking different thoughts. You have to start feeling differently. So, for example, you want to become a millionaire, you want to be rich, but you didn't grow up rich. You probably have beliefs in your mind that say money is hard to get. I have to work extremely hard for money. I'm not good with money. And that is not in keeping with the thoughts of a millionaire. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all things will be added unto you. And it also says that the kingdom of God is within you. This is what it is talking about, your mind, your thoughts. Your mind has the ability to be your mind is a treasure chest. It's just that we were probably not taught how to really use our minds in the best way, in a way that is beneficial to us, to get us where we want to be. I'm going to read some verses that I wrote down in my journal some time ago that point to the power of the mind and why we need to be conscious of the thoughts that we're thinking at all times. Being renewed in the spirit of your mind. Ephesians 4 verse 23. Your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. Proverbs 23 verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, and heart can be translated to mind based on the Hebrew translations. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Romans 12 verse 2. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and the perfect will of God. Philippians 2 verse 2. Then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, and being one in spirit and one in mind. Romans 8 verse 6. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the spirit is life and peace. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. We need to be careful of what we think about ourselves. We need to be careful of what we say about others, because the words that you're saying can either build someone else or break them up. There is life and death in the power of the tongue. And so we need to be a bit more open-minded and align our thoughts with what we want, and then everything else will be added onto us in its own time. Because when you think about it, anything that you want, it's because of a feeling that you think you will get from that thing. You think you want to be rich because you think you're gonna feel free, you think you're gonna have peace of mind. But if your body was never ever primed for peace, for happiness, if it has never been familiar with what that is, it's not going to start. Physical things cannot generate feelings, only you can do that. And so you have to have the discipline to take control of your mind. It's kind of like you're hustling backwards. That is the wrong order of creation. Creation starts in the mind, and then everything else comes. And you can have the riches, you can have the happiness, you can have the peace of mind, you can have the love, you can have it all, but it first starts with you. You can't look for any of these things outside of yourself. Affirmations are very useful in helping you to reframe some of the thoughts that you've had. Affirmations are not magic spells, but in the same way that you probably grew up hearing, oh, you're worthless, that is going to be stuck in your mind. And to become a person of worth and to really feel like you are worth something, you have to continue affirming this to yourself. So if you have, say for example, a belief that you are a worthless person, you're gonna make an affirmation and say, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of happiness, I am worthy of abundance. And you're going to say that to yourself every single day until your mind just gets it. It's not that it's gonna be like a magic spell and then things just change. No, you're teaching your brain something new. And a lot of this, what I'm saying to you, is not a one and done thing. This is a way of life. This is something that will take time, yes, but it's better than being stuck in the past. So be patient with yourselves, commit to this, commit to thinking new thoughts, build the discipline to say, no, I'm not going to think these things about myself. I'm going to actually work on being happy. Happy is not something that you buy. Happy is not something that you get. Happy is not just something that dropped from sky. Happy is something you work at deliberately, day in and day out, regardless of what physical reality is showing you. This is what unconditional love is. Unconditional love is not taking shit from people for the rest of your life and not saying anything. For example, do you know when people say you're in love? Think of that feeling of when you're in love. That is the vibration of love. You are in love. You are able to access that feeling, that vibration of love, even without a partner. You have that feeling of love within you, regardless of what the conditions are. Unconditional love, that is what it is. And if you can get to a place of loving unconditionally, being in that happy place, I mean, guys, come on, think of being in love. Do you know what that feeling is like? That is such a great feeling, and you can have that without the partner. So why not choose that? Why not work towards being in that state of unconditional love? Like, the bank can be calling, your partner probably broke up with you, but you are still choosing that, no, like, I'm still not going to allow myself to collapse internally. I'm still going to take charge of my life. And regardless of what the weather is, the mix of the seasons, you can't complain about things that are external to you. Life is gonna always be life. Seasons change, things happen all the time, but you have to work with the mix of the seasons. You have to make the best of whatever is going on around you, and the way that you do that is taking control of your mind, your internal state, and eventually reality will catch up to you. So what are some daily things that we can do to work towards getting to this point of taking control of our thoughts? First up, meditation. Meditating for 15 to 20 minutes every single day. Meditation is very important because it quiets down the chatter in your mind. It seizes all of those resistant thoughts that you're having. It really just frees up your energy in a way that hustling and bustling never could. You really need to slow down sometimes if you really want change. And so meditating every single day for 15 to 20 minutes is proven to be extremely beneficial. Two, visualization. I find visualization very, very important. Not only just visualizing what you want for your life, but also adding the feeling to it that makes it even more potent. So say you want to visualize yourself getting a new puppy. You visualize the puppy coming to you and you add the feeling of happiness, joy. The reason is because your body, as we explained earlier, doesn't know the difference between actual reality versus a thought that you're just thinking, because it's working off of your thoughts and your emotions biochemically. Something else that you need to do is regulate your nervous system, because if you are in survival mode, your brain is literally going to fight against you constantly. It's going to always go back to these negative thoughts. It's always going to drag you down, but you need to be able to regulate your nervous system to let it know that you are safe, and that, you know, the things of the past are of the past, and that right now you are safe. For me, one way I regulate my nervous system is by doing yoga. Yoga helps me a lot. You have different forms of yoga, somatic yoga, and just yoga in general helps me. Breath work is also really, really useful in helping to regulate your nervous system. I think it's a very nice hack because you can do it anywhere. You can literally be sitting down in public and just take some deep breaths, and it helps you to regulate your nervous system. And there are many other ways to regulate your nervous system. It's just about finding a way that works best for you. It's also important to work with any blocks that you have emotionally. So if you're feeling some type of way, try not to numb the pain away. Allow the feelings to come up, allow your body to release them. Do shadow work. Shadow work is basically just facing the aspects of ourselves that we run away from and working through them and getting to understand yourself on a deeper level so that you can release these things to have better emotions in your body. Journaling also helps with this. When you journal, you're able to see yourself a bit more clearly and see what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and it helps to clear these emotional blockages. So for the emotional blockages, I would say journaling and shadow work. Consistently doing shadow work, always facing that side of yourself. Okay guys, so that's it for my video today, and I really want to thank you for watching. And I not only hope that you found something useful in this video, but I hope that you actually implement it in your life so that going forward you can start consciously creating a life that is fulfilling to you. Bye.